Hi there. Looks like we're live. I did it today. Welcome to day 5 of our breath body balance and Proverbs 31 experiment. So every day we'll read a proverb. Today is day 5. And I'm a counting focused meditation. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 makes me think of the tiller and how I first began with this meditation. All the different things that I'm going to share with you during these 31 days are pieces to the puzzle. I wanted to learn how to turn off stress response and turn on the healing response, and went on a quest. And anyone that was offering meditation, I went and tried to learn and put into practice. And to make it, to make a long story short, that's what we're going to do, a long story short. I would like to start off today reading about the mustard seed again. In ancient language, there were no exclamation points. And if they wanted to exclaim something, they repeated it. And the story of the mustard seed is repeated in 3 different books of the Bible. And so today I found it in Matthew 13:31. I love how God makes memorization easy for me. 13 and then transposed 31. So Matthew 13:31, and it's two verses. That's it. Just 2 verses. And so much is here in just these 2 verses. Jesus told them another parable, because we're here in chapter 13. So 13 chapters. So this is picked up right in the middle here. So he told them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, which a man took and planted in his field. Though it is the smallest of all your seeds, yet it grows. It is the largest of garden plants and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air come and perch in its branches. And I loved how yesterday at the end of our talk, I know some of you heard the birds going wild. They definitely wanted to be part of the recording yesterday. And then listening to that again, I thought, oh yeah, we need to revisit this. And the seeds, right? We talked about how small they are. So in our hands, we hold the 5 fingers, and at the tip of each finger, let's see if I can, at the tip, there's not really at the tip, but at the corner of the nail. So number 1 on the thumb, you'll feel a hollow. If you want to see if you can find your little hollow, there's, bony landmark and hollow. This is the anatomy of acupressure meridians. Number 1, feel that hollow. Number 2, you feel that hollow. You can find them at the corner of the nail typically. And what I discovered when I was running cross country in high school, I would get a stabbing pain here. We have another hollow. Notice the clavicle is the bony landmark, and the hollow of, that's that hollow there, number 1. So this hollow, nerve pathway right to there. So the lung meridian, if we think about the meridians, let's go back to the spinal cord, right? All the nerves are coming out of the spinal cord. Think about your house. It has a breaker box. You open that breaker box and it's got all the switches. all the electrical wires originate there at that breaker box and go out to the rest of the house. And that's what I believe our spinal cord is, right? That's where all the nerves go out to all the places. And the hollows are where when we can hands-on healing. Literally, we are electromagnetic beings, and we balance the energies. So when I was in cross country running in the 9th grade, my first time ever long distance running, I would get a stabbing pain here in this hollow, and sometimes down here just under the rib cage. So again, there's a bony landmark, or the rib, and notice you have a hollow. That hollow is the large intestine. So lung, that nerve pathway goes from the thumb to this hollow. Large intestine, this finger. So notice we've got 1 and 2. 1 and 2. And if you can't touch that, it's a way to evaluate. Maybe something's going on with, it could be on any level, a physical level, emotional level, mental, or spiritual. So if you have trouble touching, and they're bilateral, so right and left, same, but I'll do the right since it seems like it's easier to see there. I would get this stabbing pain, right, when I'm running, and I told my coach, and he said, well, pretend that you're holding a feather. If you squeeze your fingers together, you'll crush the quill. And notice when you squeeze together, it creates the white. So it impedes blood flow. Blood carries the oxygen, the nutrients, and is it the electricity too? Where does the electricity flow? Is that the nervous system? I know in my house from the breaker box, it's those wires. I think of my nervous system like the electrical system of my house. And this is my house. I love how our house, our car, our guitars are very similar to the way we're created, right? Our body is shaped like a guitar with the hole in the middle, the belly button, all the strings attach at the center on the body and go out to the long arms, and that's why reflexology works so well. It's how we tune a guitar and tune this instrument as well. All right, I'm used to teaching a live class and getting a little feedback, so I'm just going to go off of the feedback that I normally get and hope that I'm tracking well with everyone. Feel free to send me any messages. You can write questions in the comments or send them to me privately, and I'm happy to have a conversation here, even though it seems one way on this video. Okay, so where was I? The seeds, right? So we read the mustard seeds. We want to plant those seeds. So we have, with the tiniest seed, we can plant the kingdom of heaven. That's what he described, the kingdom of heaven. Who doesn't want heaven? Isn't that what we all desire, to go to heaven? Perhaps not. I know that there are 1/3 that are perfectly content going to hell. But I'm in the third that wants to go to heaven. And if you're watching this video, maybe you are too. So this is a vehicle and we are driving. So how do we drive? Let's take it back to the mustard seed. And we have these seeds now. So think about the fingertips. Each one of these is a seed. You feel that hollow. And seeds don't, well, let's go with not what they don't need, but what they do need. Seeds need, in order to grow, to be planted. And I began planting the seeds in this dry, hard ground. I think about my sternum here as the dry, hard ground, and my hands are the tiller. And because I'm a neuromuscular therapist, and a lot of that is action, right? The physical therapy part. So the physical movement is this. I use my eyes and I start here looking at the base of my thumb. And with each inhale, I'd like you to go ahead and do this with me. So if you want, get comfortable. You can stand or sit. I'm sitting for this one. Put your hands together. Look at the base of the thumb. And as you reach up, look up at the tip. And sometimes I even open the thumbs and just see God pouring integrity into my spirit. And as God fills me with integrity, I bring it down and touch my sternum. Now I'm looking at the base of the thumb between index finger and reaching up, looking at that index finger, opening the index finger and breathing in joy deep into the belly. I love how it makes a funnel where I can just funnel in joy from the heavens. Now, see, can you touch your index finger to the sternum? Middle finger. Let's take that middle finger up. Open the middle fingers and see that funneling in peace into your heart. Ask the Holy Spirit to just funnel us in peace and bring it in and touch that middle finger to the sternum. Now look at that ring finger, the fourth finger, the heart nerve, the nervous system. See if you can separate those ring fingers, open up, and ask God to fill us with patience and bring that patience down in. Touch the ring finger. Ooh, that's a toughie. I can't do that one. Now pinky. Look up, reach up, inhale. You can take a few breaths here. Notice with each inhale you can reach a little bit more. And then kindness. Ask God to fill you with kindness. And notice how that's really open. We can take in a lot of kindness. And bring it around. Boom. Can't touch the pinky either. And that's okay. You know what? We do the best we can. I couldn't touch the ring finger and the pinky, but maybe you could. I have taught classes where I thought certain moves were impossible, and attendees do it effortlessly. So I do know that we are all very different in what our abilities and disabilities are. However, what we do have in common, we all need to breathe. We all need to go number 2. And the heart is a muscle innervated by nerves and circulatory system. And that heart pumps everything that we take in to every cell in our body. So we accumulate, assimilate, and eliminate. Now, I would also like to encourage you to practice this on your own. To meditate day and night, like Psalm 1 through 3 says, meditate day and night on the law of the Lord. I found that, sitting quietly isn't practical to do day and night. So we need to have, just like our toolbox, we need to have different ways that we can use the meditation. And early on, I found it was hard for me to sit still. I would get distracted and I needed to move around. We all need to move around if we've been sitting too long. So that's a great way, and you can do it like we just did the example today, where you're reaching up, taking several breaths in at once, or you can do it one by one. I sometimes will do inhale, down, and do that 5 times, times 4. So that gives me 20 breaths, if that makes sense, right? I'll reach up and down. I'll go through a round of 5, let my arms shake out, rest for a few seconds, and then go into a second round of 10 breaths. So you can vary it the way that you feel works best for you and your abilities and the the task that you have at hand. And the task that I have at hand now is reading Proverbs 5. All right. I'm reading this for you. Proverbs 5. Warning against adultery. My son, pay attention to my wisdom. Listen well to my words of insight, that you may maintain discretion, and your lips may preserve knowledge. For the lips of an adulteress drip honey. Her speech is smoother than oil, but in the end is bitter as gall, sharp as a double-edged sword. Her feet go down to death. Her steps lead straight to the grave. She gives no thought to the way of her life. Her paths are crooked, and she knows it not. Now then, my sons, listen to me. Do not turn aside from what I say. Keep to a path far from her. Do not go near the door of her house, lest you give your best strength to others, and your years to the one who is cruel. Lest strangers feast on your wealth, and your toil enrich another man's house. At the end of your life you will groan when your flesh and your body are spent. You will say, how I hated discipline, how my heart spurned correction. I would not obey my teachers or listen to my instructors. I have come to the brink of utter ruin, in the midst of the whole assembly. Drink water from your own cistern, running water from your own well. Should your springs overflow in the streets, your streams of water in the public squares? Let them be yours alone, never to be shared with strangers. May your fountain be blessed, and may you rejoice in the wife of your youth, a loving doe, a graceful deer. May her breast satisfy you always, and may you ever be captivated by her love. Why be captivated, my son, by an adulteress? Why embrace the bosom of another man's wife? For a man's ways are in full view of the Lord, and he examines all his paths. The evil deeds of a wicked man ensnare him, and the cords of sin hold him fast. He will die for lack of discipline, led astray by his own folly. Thank God for Jesus to come and give us a second chance. You know, we read these and it's, I think for me, it's like, oh, the fear of the Lord. Whew, yeah, that's maybe why a lot of people aren't wanting to read the Proverbs, because I would say that's frightening. The consequences are frightening. And I have felt those consequences for sure. And that's why I feel that it's like, all right, I got to get a hold of myself. Oh God, help me. And, you know, drive this vehicle. This is a car. I thankfully, I still have my little black Corolla that I've had for 22 years now, because I do this like my life depends on it. And I pray that we as a collective humanity will also take it seriously. And the more of us that do it, speaking of doing this, it's the kingdom of heaven, right? So the kingdom of heaven, what does he say? Is we plant these seeds of integrity, planting the seeds of joy, peace, patience, kindness. We plant these little seeds, and like the kingdom of heaven, right? These are fruits of the Spirit. Somebody posted too about, made me think, fruits of the Spirit, we could have a fruits of the Spirit forest. And I imagine that, what it would be like to have the fruits of the Spirit forest. So we do, we're not perfect. None of us are perfect. But this, I hope, encourages you to begin to plant those seeds and tend the tend those little seedlings, and let's grow a forest. The kingdom of heaven. I think it can be easy as 1, 2, 3. But it starts with integrity. What is true? What is honest? Are we loving our neighbor as ourselves? Food for thought. All right. I hope that blesses you, and I'm thankful for your attention and your friendship, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for day 6. All right. Ciao.